directing Department of Justice and Homeland Security to undertake all necessary and lawful action to break the back of the criminal cartels that have spread across our nation and are destroying the blood of our youth and other people, many other people.
All right, that was President Trump earlier today announcing a new executive order that will be used as a tool to crush violent drug smuggling cartels. Now, President Trump had promised to deport illegal criminal aliens, and last night in Phoenix, protesters, they blocked federal vans carrying a longtime illegal U.S. resident and a convicted felon who was set to be deported back to our home country of Mexico. Joining us now with reaction, Fox Business anchor, our good friend Lou Dobs, and the author of The Big Agenda, President Trump's Plan to Save America, which is a great book. A great friend of mine, David Horowitz. Guys, good to see you both.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Sean.
All right, Lou, you've been all over the issue of illegal immigration, and you also understand business as well as anybody that's on television today. This is a case of identity theft. I know people that have had their identity stolen. And when it happens, it in some cases takes years to get your good name and reputation back. It takes years to take care of credit cards that were used in your name. It takes years to fight to get your retirement money back or your savings account money back. So this is not a small crime. She didn't respect the sovereignty of the United States, the laws of the United States, and then came here and committed fraud against Americans.
And there is a general acceptance in the community, if you will, of her doing so, because, in fact, millions of illegal immigrants in the conservative number is call it 1 million. We're talking about 1 million Class 6 felonies for every fraudulent Social Security card, every fraudulent identification, many of them stolen. And if this were done by a citizen, if this felony were committed by a U.S. citizen, the consequences would be perhaps even more severe. There would not be discussion about separating this woman from her family. She would be going to prison. If she's a U.S. citizen here, she's being deported. It's really quite a remarkable sense of entitlement that has grown up around the issue of illegal immigration, which is, of course, breaking the law to enter the country, further breaking the law and committing a felony to defraud the government and create fraudulent identification of any kind.
You know, David, we've been friends a lot of years. I don't know if a lot of people know your background and in your experience and being a hardcore leftist. And it really dovetails into your book. Everything Trump is doing is being met with this type of reaction, this anger, this fight, this vitriol. So my question to you is, how do you deal with all this when all you're really doing is enforcing the law? And what is Trump to do?
Just what he's doing. The great thing about Donald Trump, which I describe in my book, and which you can just see, is that he's not intimidated by the attacks of the left. We're in the midst of one of the big witch hunts in American history. Jeff Sessions, one of the most decent human beings in the Senate, a champion of civil rights, is defamed and slandered as a racist by Elizabeth Warren, who's making a career out of character assassination. We have in this country a large hate America left. And it dovetails with the Democratic Party as a party of hate. Trump looked in the cameras during the second debate and said, you have to understand, Hillary has tremendous hatred in her heart. That was one of the wisest things he said. He was referring to the basket of deplorables. But the whole Democratic Party looks on people who disagree with it as racist, sexist, homophobes, Islamophobes. That's why we can't have a civil discussion in America anymore.
Let me ask both of you this question, though, and I dealt with this in my monologue earlier. He does have a big agenda, David, and he isn't keeping his promises, and he's moving at the speed, I'll call it the speed of Trump. And Congress is just digging in their heels, and the bureaucracy and the wheels of the bureaucracy don't even move. What is your message to Republicans that can't seem to keep up with what the president's doing?
I'm worried about them. They've got to. Look, how refreshing is it, how amazing to have a politician come into office and then work around the clock. A guy gets up at 5:30 in the morning, works till midnight through the weekends, delivering on his promises. It's not as though he said one thing on the campaign trail the way Obama did, and then does a completely different thing when he's in the White House.
Lou, let me get your take on that. I think this is, you know, Lou, one of the things you and I have complained about politicians for years, and I can't believe after 8 years of Obamacare, they don't have a consensus plan to put before the American people, and they say, well, maybe sometime late this year.
We're talking about, as you know, we're talking about a deficiency of leadership in the Republican Party, whether it be the House or the Senate. We're coming to terms with that, and I believe that we're seeing on the Senate side some movement. I'm not quite sure what we're seeing from Speaker Ryan. But the fact is that if they do not get in line and follow the agenda of President Trump, it will be the greatest missed opportunity. This is a dream come true to have a man of Mr. Trump's values, his leadership, his energy, and his faith in the country and our people, and for him to be frustrated on any level here by his own party would be, to me, criminal. I think that we're going to see things get better steadily, not as fast as any of us would want, but week to week, I think the president is making immense progress.
You know, great point on both of you. But I got to go, but I love the book, by the way, David. Big agenda, and I read it over the weekend. Here's my message to them. Move at the speed of Trump or go home, because you're useless otherwise. Anyway, thank you both for being with us. Appreciate it. And coming up, we have a very important question of the day as we continue tonight right here on Hannity.